As president, I have the opportunity to recognize individuals and organizations who have helped the Academy in an extraordinary way with a presidential citation. This year, I'm honored to recognize 3 outstanding organizations and individuals. The first is Don Schumacher. Don recently retired from his position as president and CEO of the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization. Throughout his 30-year career, Don has been laser-focused on achieving improvements within the field of hospice and palliative medicine that have helped lead far-reaching impact not only on patients and families, but on physicians, nurses, and the other team members. Since he is first appointed to serve at NHPCO, Don has worked very closely with the Academy on a variety of key collaborative initiatives, including advocacy, quality, and education through the National Coalition of Hospice and Palliative Care. It is my privilege to thank you, Don, for all you have done for the hospice and palliative care community.
Thanks, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I'm very honored to be offered this wonderful award. My good friend Mary Labiak, who many of you may have known, she ran a wonderful program down in Florida, used to say to me, when they begin to give you awards, you're either dying or you're planning on retiring relatively soon. And so I'm retiring soon. If any of you have had the opportunity to see the play on Broadway, Hamilton, which I was very fortunate to have an opportunity to see, this is about the last song in the musical is, or centers around, who will tell your story? And when you look back at all of us who have worked so hard in this field for so many years, who is going to tell your story, I think, is something we all should be focusing a little bit of time on. I was very happy that I didn't follow the footsteps of a lot of my family members selling life insurance. I told my father begged me to sell real estate. I said no. I said I'm going to do hospice. He said that's not the real estate I was thinking about. He had a very good sense of humor. But when you think about what it is that we've done these last really 25, 30, I'm in my 42nd year now, just recognize how lucky you are as an individual. You are incredibly lucky to have followed your own path, developed a direction for yourself that meant something for you and your family. Excuse me, I've got a runny nose. And for the many patients and families that we've taken care of. So I ask all of you to think about when your turn comes, who you want to tell your story. And my belief is that everybody in this room deserves to have the millions of patients and families who will stand up and say that you were a part of their story and they were a part of yours. One last piece. Yes, it was doctors and nurses that founded this industry. Social workers would take umbrage that it was only those 2 groups, but they always take umbrage. Excuse me. And the last thing is that when you look at the characters of those that took care of us and raised this field, it wasn't the men. Men are very late to the party. Let's give a round of applause to the women in this room. It was the women in this room and around the country that started and are maintaining the hospice and palliative care movement. And when you are a woman involved in all of this, I used to hear from Kubler-Ross all the time, hospice and palliative care was a forceps delivery. And in fact, it was. But that's why the women were so involved. But that is why we've been so successful, because we've had the heart of our movement guided and tended by the many women sitting in this room and around the country. So thank you very much. If you get to Martha's Vineyard, give me a call.
Our second citation is awarded to Sue Ramthun. Not many of you may know Sue personally, but she has been so important to the Academy. Sue is the Principal and Senior Vice President at Heart Health Strategies and the Academy's Chief Legislative Consultant. Sue was involved in drafting the Palliative Care Training Act, which was first introduced in 2004. She has worked tirelessly since then to help secure legislative champions for PsyD and to guide the Academy's advocacy efforts, including collaboration with other stakeholder organizations. Her efforts have been invaluable in ensuring support for the bill, which grows with each session of Congress and in moving the field closer to achieving its legislative goals. As many of you know, the legislation, PsyD, reached a new milestone in the 114th Congress, securing a congressional hearing for the very first time. Sue has helped me and many others in our field realize that clinician advocacy is so important. Before it was cool, like now it's cool to be politically active. She was teaching us before it was cool. So we are very thankful for Sue and her work. She's a strong believer in ensuring earlier and appropriate access to hospice and palliative care and has benefited from the care given to patients and family members and seen the quality of life that this care model offers. This citation recognizes her efforts to promote hospice and palliative medicine priorities in the legislative arena, and particularly her many years of work to advance legislation related to palliative care education and training, which can help all professionals. Please join me in acknowledging Sue Ramthun.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to receive the awards. Certainly lobbyists don't get many awards. So it's, in looking at what this award really is, it supports the critical work and the passion of what you all do. And I'm honored that you value the work that my colleagues at Heart Health Strategies and I do on your behalf. So thank you for that. We certainly don't do it alone. It's a teamwork, and working with the Academy and working with other stakeholders that you all work with. So I thank Steve, Jackie Kaczynski, Jordan Endicott, as well as any of you who have responded to those advocacy alerts you get, who've come and participated in the advocacy days, even sent out tweets on behalf of the legislation the Academy supports. It all makes a difference. So thank you for that. It was mentioned we all have a different way of how we got here. I think Dr. Story brought that up. And certainly I came to Washington after being a caregiver, and I was ready to see change in healthcare. Healthcare is slow, slow process of seeing change. And when I first went to Capitol Hill as a staffer, I covered a lot of issues. Healthcare was only one of them. Transportation was my other primary. And people used to ask me, what do I like best? And I said, transportation. Transportation was very tangible. I could work on, funding a bridge. I could see it constructed when I went back home. And ultimately, I could drive over and see the difference it made in people's lives. Now, we can argue that's not as important to the work you do, but you could see it. In healthcare, it takes a long time to see change. And I've been very lucky to have been involved in a lot of change that has happened, but it's been a slow process and taken a long time to see. So when we mentioned legislation introduced in 2004 that we're still working on, it's important to note that we see progress each and every time. So we'll get there eventually. But healthcare is something you've got to be in for the long haul. And I feel very lucky to be involved with you all and supporting the work that you do so that you can continue to do what you do and people learn more about it and support it. And I was thinking about something that someone had told me a long time ago, because in our journeys where we end up, one of my strangest jobs in college, I worked at a funeral home. And there was a young kid there who was interning for the summer. And, of course, I'm like, why do you want to be in this field? Why is this what you're choosing to do in high school? And he said something that stuck with me, both personally and professionally, which is it was such a great honor to be that person, to give them the respect, to be with that individual in the end, to be the very last person with them. And I think that says a lot about the care that you give families and patients. And so I'm very proud to support that. Thank you.
The third and final presidential citation is awarded to the Cambia Health Foundation. This presidential citation to the Cambia Health Foundation is for its commitment to advancing palliative care quality, access, and understanding. The foundation has provided more than $22 million in support of national and regional palliative care programs and initiatives. And since 2014, it has given financial awards to 10 different scholars each year that allows them to take half of their professional time to focus on the National Sojourn Scholar Leadership Program. The foundation has also generously sponsored the Cambia Leadership Lecture during the annual assembly, providing opportunities for emerging leaders to gain wisdom and candid career advice from physician and nurse leaders in the field. Accepting the award on behalf of the Cambia Foundation is Mark Ganz, President and CEO of Cambia Health Solutions.
Well, in the spirit of the season, I'd like to thank the Academy, and particularly Christian and Steve for this incredible honor. Many of you know that Cambia's cause, through the 23 companies that we have, as well as our all-important foundation, is to transform healthcare, to serve as a catalyst, to transform healthcare, to make the system much more person-focused and, of course, economically sustainable. And we do that, and we say that use the words catalyst because we know this is not work that we do alone. It's through very many partners. And I want to, in receiving this award, thank some of those partners. I want to specifically thank our advisors, people who are luminaries in this field that have helped guide us so that the work that we do makes the most impact. Steve Pantelat, Diane Meyer, Randy Curtis, Betty Farrell, Patricia Davidson, and Jean Kutner have just been incredible forces in the work that we do and helping us get it right. We're also acutely aware that one does not achieve recognition without the good and loving work and guidance of others. I'd like to thank our friends in the funding community, other foundations who have joined us in advancing this important work. We're excited to partner with you so we can expand our collective impact. And I want to thank our grantees, many of who are in this room, and particularly our Sojourn Scholars for what they are doing to innovate and advance palliative care. They are beacons of hope who remind us that the work that we're doing is growing this profession. So, I would be remiss if I didn't also thank the incredible team from the Cambia Health Foundation for their commitment to our cause and the work we do toward raising awareness. I'd like to specifically call out Peggy McGuire, the president of our foundation. And Peggy, could you please stand and be recognized? Because this woman drives this every day, along with Angela Holt and the other members of the team, to do this great work. And I want to thank them, the entire team, for their commitment, passion, and leadership. It's these leaders who have the courage to lean in, to help define the way palliative care should be defined, through the eyes of individuals and families that need this care along their healthcare journey. There are some people, some with too loud voices, that still demonstrate an ignorance of this work and the spirit behind it. No, Senator Cruz, palliative care is not about doping up older adults with some drugs before it is their time to go. Everyone in this room knows it's about enhancing quality of life. It's about asking people how they want to live in the midst of disease and making it possible for them to choose how to live well until they breathe their last breath. None of you, not one of you in this room, need apologize for the incredible work you do every day. And don't let any voices bring you down or make you second guess the importance, the vital importance of your work. You are people as I've personally come to know so many of you and had the opportunity both in a professional capacity but also in a very personal capacity with respect to in my own family with the passing of my parents. I have come to know you as people deeply grounded in great courage, in hope, in passion, and in empathy. You are a shining example of humanity, and it is a great honor for our foundation to get the chance to work beside you and support your work. So thank you.